Good evening, fans from around the world. It's Flashpoint Nigeria, and with me this evening to discuss some of the contemporary political issues in the river states of Nigeria is Mustafa Jinodo and Warifa Marcos. Just to give a little bit of background, it's been a very hotly contested, fight between Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, who was the previous governor, and the present governor, Sim Fubara. FUBARA happens to be his godson, and WIKE is the godfather. But even after leaving Rivers State as governor after 8 years, Governor WIKE still wants to wield his influence on Rivers State, but Governor FUBARA has kicked vehemently against this. This will form the basis of our discourse this evening as I invite Mustafa to jump in.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm coming from Washington, but I'm watching with tension to see what's going on. Very quick question, Afolabi. So, what is the justification for this, for closing down the state assembly and everything? What is the justification by the government? Is it coming from the federal government or the state? So,
No,
a little bit more background before we go to Arif.
Yeah, basically what happened was Governor WIKE handpicked present governor to become governor of Rivers State, and having done that, the governor of Rivers State does not want any kind of control or influence from the predecessor, but the predecessor still wants to continue to control him. So what he did was he got some of his loyalists to act against Governor Fubara. They wanted to impeach him. And so he went ahead.
Yeah, but very quick question. Isn't it supposed to go through elections? Or are you allowed to handpick? I thought you would have to have elections to.
Well, there was an election, but he was supported by his predecessor with his incumbent might, with money and everything.
Okay.
And he ensured that he used his influence to ensure that the new guy won the election, because he expected that guy would continue to do his bidding. But unfortunately for him, the guy didn't want any sort of control. No sooner than he became governor, he stopped the guy from controlling him, and that has not gone down well with the godfather. So that is the basis of the problem.
Yeah, okay, so I understand. Yeah, so I understand, but it still sounds undemocratic to me. And how is everything shut down if he's the duly elected person? What's causing the mechanism now? Because I hear that the state assembly is shut down and things like that. Warif, can you also add to this, please? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
For some time now, the governor of Rivers State, Governor Sim Fubara, and the FC minister, which was the former governor of they've been having some issues now. When the thing started, I think the House of Assembly, they said there was dynamite bombing or something, or so. So they shifted
terrorism.
Yes. They shifted the sitting of the House of Assembly members to the government house. Before this time, before the issue with the House of Assembly, some of the about, I think, 25 or 26 assembly members, they decamped to APC. So I think they are loyal to Nyesom Wike. That was where the whole thing. Okay. But before this time, like Nyesom Wike will always say, one thing I like about him is that he does not hide his mouth. He opens up to say things. He said he was the one that got the form, which might not be right when it comes to the Constitution, but because of the type of country that we are. He said he was the one that he got the form for Governor Sim Fubara.
Yeah.
So, once somebody is in power, and even if the person is your boy, you are the godfather, it will get to a point, the person will want to stand on his own. And I believe the person also has his own kind of caliber of person that you want to work with. I believe that's what caused the issue between FCT Minister Wike, Nyesom Wike, and Governor Sim Fubara.
Okay, so what I would say, I think when we come to countries like Nigeria and other countries in Africa, it's a little bit different from the West, in which you have your Oga and you have like our traditional rulers, like in the North, you have the Sultan. So it makes us wonder, this doesn't seem like it's going according to like a Western democracy. This should be easily solved, but I think Nigeria is a complex country, so we have to take a more nuanced view. But I agree with you. Once this guy stands, it's time for him to stand on his own. It's kind of like what they have in the U.S., where Hillary Clinton is still trying to run the Democratic Party sometimes and wield influence. And she undermines.
Sorry to
Go ahead.
The one time governor of Rivers State, Peter Dili, you know, the wife was a chief judge, but he's retired now, a judge in Nigeria. He was like the godfather to Nyesom Wike, but right now they're not in good terms.
Yeah, and so this is a problem, and it seems like, I remember, do you guys remember some years ago where I think it was a senator or a governor, maybe you remember this, Afolabi, the guy they put him in the trunk because they said he wasn't doing what they paid him to do. Do you remember that? They didn't kill the guy, but I think it was in Enugu or somewhere, and they put the guy in the trunk. They kidnapped him and said, "Oh boy, we put you in, so you have to do what we said." Do you remember that, Afolabi?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So this reminds me of it a little bit.
Yes,
Continue, Afolabi and Warif. Okay. Yeah.
It does.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The reason why this is not so easy is because the predecessor, who was the former Rivers State governor, has been appointed as a minister in the Federal Capital Territory. And that is where his office and his base is. So his influence physically and virtually in Rivers State has been significantly limited. Also, he doesn't have access to as much funds as he used to when he was governor. So now that the godson says he won't allow him to control him, there's very little he can do. He can only get people to act against him and frustrate his governance, which is what he's doing from Abuja.
So, but right now there's a standstill because assembly everything is shut down, right? Yeah. So what was the mechanism?
The House of Assembly members, like it's not the members, the majority that they come to APC right now is like he's not in favor of them. He's not favoring them because the court gave an injunction that according to the constitution, once you are in a party, you are holding you win a particular post in a particular party, and you defect to come to the other party, you are supposed that automatically that post is declared vacant. But right now, as at yesterday, they've said, you know, Nigerians can talk with both sides of their mouth. They've started saying they did not come to APC because he's not working, he's not really favoring them. So they want to like be diplomatic somehow. So right now it is somehow. And again, you know, what is it called? Nyesom Wike is a grassroots politician. That's one thing I like about him.
Okay.
He knows how to play the point very well. But my challenge with him is that some of his loyalists, okay, before this time, if you watch, maybe I'll send the video to you. Some of his clips, he was saying that some people that might not be loyal, that was when they were in good terms with the governor, FUBARA. Before he became the governor, that was during the campaign. Nyesom Wike was saying that those people that might not want to obey the governor, that because he's a small boy, that is by the time he will deal with you, heaven and earth backs him. So right now, what I'm saying is that maybe I don't know if you've seen the video, a particular local government chairman, you know, their tenure is supposed to end by 17th of.
Yes, and he said we're not going anywhere. Yeah, you sent it to me.
Yeah. A local government chairman was saying if that if they burn the governor well, if they burn him well, they should come and remove him from office.
Yeah, I saw that, and that to me sounds like that's something that can lead to violence and bloodshed, which is what we do not want. We don't want that at all.
Defiant.
And before this time,
so this sounds like
the governor.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a crisis in democracy in that state and in the whole country. This is a crisis right now. This is an impasse. It's a serious impasse. I'm going to let what do you think is going to continue? Give us your thoughts on that, and moving forward, what needs to be done, you know?
Now, what do you
predict could be happening? Yeah.
What makes the issue very, very critical now is because the present governor was the previous governor's accountant general. So he was privy to all the financial transactions, all his secrets are in this guy's hands. In fact,
you guys, let me tell you. Sorry, very quickly, this is why I talk political theory, but I will never become a politician. I wouldn't be able to sleep looking outside my window the way these guys are fighting each other. Continue.
Yeah, so now he has even he has initiated proceedings to probe his predecessor. All his secrets are in that guy's hand. And one thing in his favor is that the people of River State are supporting the incumbent. So it's going to be really difficult. It has become an impasse. The way you mentioned, it's going to be very difficult for...
Yeah, and it's an impasse. And I think it's a power play because one person has the backing of the people, another person has the backing because they're in federal government. So what position is the federal government, especially the president? Are they leaning towards any side or supporting either side?
What the president did initially was to call them to Abuja and try to broker peace between them. But some of the conditions that were given are not legislatively accurate. Some of them are flawed. And when the guy got back to his people in Rivers State, they blamed him and they called him the leaning liver chicken for subjecting himself to such bullying. In fact, they felt
because he's not defending their interests.
Yes, because it's not defending their interests. They felt he was bullied when he got to Abuja, and they felt those conditions were not in the best interest of the state. So as it is now, we're back to square one, really.
And I don't want to say a joke, but but it's not fair, and the people have the right, because this is a crisis, just kind of like in the US also, where the federal government sometimes may even overstep its bounds. And we've had issues like that in Lagos with different things like land and other things like that. So this is a serious problem. And I think we need to address this as Nigerians and see moving forward it seems like it's a conflict which has cultural roots also. We can't just say, oh, it's corruption or it's power moves. And it goes to show us that even though we had a transition to democracy, we still have a sort of feudal system in which men of power still have control. And it's not just about who voted. What are your thoughts, Falabi? Then we'll go to Arif.
Yes, I agree with you. And one important thing is that this thing has been a trend in Nigeria. If you look at the president himself, ever since he left as governor of Lagos State, he has ensured that his party has always delivered that state for him. And the work of that state has been monopolized by the president. And that was what he used to win the election. So they're trying to break the narrative of having a godson that just continues to do your bidding, because it's affecting governance and progress. So, and the people of Rivers State are fighting against. They don't want someone who has left to continue to control the state.
And also, I don't know why he would want to. He's now in the federal government. We all know all of these politicians are rich. They need to think about the people, because if this thing breaks out, it's going to lead to conflict even within local areas, kind of like what we saw in was it Warrior somewhere, where they had when they had the fighting with the soldiers and the kids. Delta State. So what I'm saying is that they'll start being factions and they'll fight and it'll lead to violence. So someone needs to step in and mediate. So this is on Flashpoint Nigeria. It's a very quick show, and we're going to do 3 or 4 series on this. This is the first series on this. We're going to be back, but we have 5 more minutes. So I would like to ask Warif, so you're in Port Harcourt, so you're not too far from where all of this is happening. Give us your thoughts on what we need to move forward and what you think is going to happen, and any last thoughts by you? Okay.
What I would have advised them is for Nyesom Wike to call his loyalists to order, to know that the governor is the chief security officer of the state, that they should learn how to respect the governor. A governor, once you're in power, you will have your own vision. I know the governor was once a civil servant. I know when a civil servant is in power, he becomes the governor for the people. He knows their pains. He knows the challenges of the common man. He knows the challenges of the civil servant. But the only place I want to blame the governor somehow, before he became the governor, he knows the kind of person that Nyesom Wike is. Nyesom Wike is
and he knows what deals he agreed to do also.
He likes power. He likes being in control. And he bought the form for you. He single-handedly put you in power. You agreed. I believe maybe there are some terms. So they should just try and come to...
I'm going to go back to old literature. There's a man who learned how... Sorry, there's a myth. There's a man who learned how to play the guitar because the devil told him, I'm going to teach you to play the guitar, but at the end of the day, I own your soul. I'm not calling people devil, but it's a metaphor. When you do, when you dance with the angel, you have to listen to the angel also. All right, Afolabi, take us out because we're going to continue. So, guys, this is a very short program that we do. It's called Flashpoint, because that's why it's a very quick flash. But we're going to continue this for 3 or more episodes. So, Afolabi, can you take us out and any last thoughts?
Okay, so basically, this has become a matter for the judiciary and the case is in court. But the sad thing about all of this is that the people of Rivers State, who should be enjoying a new tenure of their governor, are not really enjoying the tenure of their governor. So I would like to appeal to the factions to shield their sword and let peace reign for the sake of the people that voted them into office. And it's on that note that we're going to be rounding up on Flashpoint Nigeria, maiden edition. It's been wonderful talking to you, Mustafa and Warifa. I've been thoroughly, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you. And finally, we're not talking about Israel and some other stories. We're talking about some things closer to home.
So Niger,
all right, so thank you guys. I'll see you guys too, because we're going to talk about the European Championships in 10-15 minutes. Have a good day, and thank you very much from Washington, D.C. God bless Nigeria, bless all of us. Okay.